Ben McKee, West Rucker here with our full court press inside of Thompson-Boling Arena at Food City Center following Tennessee's dominating 91-71 win over Alabama. Tennessee winning, not a surprise, but the way in which it did win was quite the surprise. I mean, it was just a dominating performance on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and I think honestly it says more about Tennessee than Alabama today, but Alabama was not ready to fight. Like you come into this building, I mean, Nato said it before the game, Tennessee has lost, 4 times here in the last 4 or 5 years? Does not happen often. You got to play hard on both ends of the floor, be physical to come here and win. Alabama did some of the stuff it does offensively, did nothing defensively. I mean, it just was not even, looked like it was really trying to play defense at times. And you come here and you don't fight Tennessee, you're going to get one handed to you.
Yes, and that's especially what happened on the defensive end for Tennessee. I mean, season low in points for Alabama with 71, season high in turnovers with 23, which led to 22 points off of turnovers for Tennessee. Just an ugly afternoon for Alabama offensively. Mark Sears, their star player, he has a rough go at it. Makes 1 3. He was shooting almost 50% from 3 entering the game. And Alabama as a team, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country, 4 made threes for the game. It was just Tennessee had Alabama in handcuffs today.
Yeah, I mean, what Tennessee does defensively, it's got maybe the best perimeter defensive backcourt in America. And behind that has one of the best rim protectors in America. And so you think about how hard you have to play to get through that wave of guards to get into the paint. And then when you do, you've got Jonas Aidoo swatting things away at the rim. I mean, it is a very, very, very good defense. Tennessee and Houston play defense at a level that most people in the country just don't. And Alabama's offense is elite. It's analytically the #1 offense in America. And on tape, it really might be that good. It's very, very good. But Tennessee's very good at taking away stuff. Very, very good.
Yes, and they're also very good offensively. The KenPom numbers have already been updated. It's a top 20 offense. They're up to number 19. Scored 91 against an athletic Alabama team. Alabama was struggling on defense. Their defensive numbers don't do them any favors, but still a very impressive offensive performance from Tennessee today. Dalton Connect, who was out here a moment ago, he had a quiet 25 points.
Just 25 MBD.
If that's possible. But Jonas Aidoo, Jordan Gainey coming off the bench, that's probably the biggest storyline from today offensively is Jordan Gainey's emergence off the bench there.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned it because I was going to. It's when he gives you those double-digit 10, 13, 15 points off the bench, it changes a lot of things. Because if you look at Tennessee's had some big wins this season where the bench has had 10 points, 15 points. When you have Gainey coming off the bench to like double that by himself, you're putting a lot of points on there. If you go back and look at it, when Gainey's in double figures, Tennessee's normally scoring a lot of points. And the correlation there is pretty simple. If A happens, then B happens. If Jordan Gainey scores a bunch of points, Tennessee's going to score a bunch of points. And that's what happened today.
Yeah, and I think lastly, my final thought is that this team continues to prove that it's different than the Rick Barnes teams of the past couple of years, which should make fans feel more comfortable about March. Obviously, you have Dalton Connect. We've been talking about that for a couple of weeks now. He's the ultimate trump card. But something you and I talked about during the game, that was Alabama's brand of basketball, and Tennessee smoked them doing it.
It was, and that's, listen, I think it's fair to say proof is in the pudding. And so if you're someone who says it's got to happen in the postseason before I believe it, listen, you might be right. You really might be right. I mean, you are what you are until you prove you are not. I say that all the time, and I mean it. But what we see right now from this team is different from what we've seen from Tennessee teams, even at this point in the season in the past. And so if that extrapolates into the postseason, then yes, this is a very different team. Now, I think you got to go prove it. But when you look at the building blocks to do that, every single piece is there. If Jonas Aidoo stays out of foul trouble and Tennessee hits some shots, Tennessee's really, really hard to beat.
Yep, absolutely. They're going to be a real contender in March, which is stating the obvious, I feel, at this point, and certainly need to go prove it in March. But in the meantime, I think if you're somebody just waiting on March, you're going to miss out on quite the fun conference slate here leading into March. So plenty of coverage of Tennessee's dominating win over Alabama up at the site at GoVols 24/7. And week off. Tennessee's not back in action until next Saturday at Vanderbilt, and we'll still have plenty of coverage in the meantime. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.